Hey everyone, so just jumping right into the tutorial, the first thing I'm going to take is the Helen E Stage Eyeshadow Primer. I'm just using this as a base for my eyeshadows, so I'm not going to set this base, I'm just going to pat it in so it is still quite tacky. The reason I like to keep it quite tacky is so I find that the shadows stick to it more and it just gives off the full pigment and vibrancy of the shadows. Then the first palette I'm going to go in with is the Masquerade Mini by Juvia's Palace, and I'm actually just going to use these wee eyeshadow guard shield things. I've never actually used them before. I got these last year at IMATS and I thought I would need to make use of them, and I kind of wanted to use them as well because I kind of had this idea of makeup look in my head, so I thought they would come in handy for it. So the first shade I'm going to be taking is Burkina, I don't know. These palettes have the weirdest names ever. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat on the shadow, and then in between packing on the shadow, I'm just going to buff it in. So I'm mainly focusing this shade just in my crease area, and I'm just blending that out with a Kylie Cosmetics blending brush. And you really want to work the first shade in because, as before I had said, this base isn't set, so it is quite tacky. So you really just want to take your time and blend out the shade first just so it doesn't go patchy or anything. Then the second shade I'm going to go in with is Zulu, and on a smaller blending brush I'm just going to pack on that shade just in my crease. The reason I go with a smaller blending brush is because I kind of feel that I get more control over the placement of the shadow. And then the next shade I'm going to go with is the shade Ada, and I'm actually just going to use that shade on the same brush to blend out the Zulu shade. The reason I've done this is because them two shades are quite similar and I just thought that they complemented each other. Then going back into that first brush, I'm just going to blend everything all together, just so it's more seamless. So as you can see, I am being quite rough whenever I'm like buffing and blending here because I want it to be quite seamless. So I kind of slowed this part down just to actually show you in slow motion about how I place my brush, that I'm not scared to take over my eyebrow or anything. It just gives such a seamless blend. And then again, I'm just going to go back into them two previous shades and just build up the intensity just in my crease. So packing on the shadow first and then just back in with the blend. And then I just repeat the steps back and forth with them two brushes. And then the last shade I'm going to use is Falani, I think that's how you call it. But I'm just going to take a flat brush and I'm just going to be packing this all over my lid. So because this is a different shade, I'm just trying to make sure that I get it blended up into my crease as well. Back in with that first brush again. For one last time, I think I'm just going to blend everything all together. Now into the Jack and Hill palette. I apologise that I don't know the names of this shade, but I'm just going to take that shade that I pointed at and I'm just going to pack that all over my lid. So now for a wing, I'm just going to grab the Kat Von D tattoo liner and I'm just going to do just quite a thin line, I'm guessing, because the next step we're going to do is we're going to smudge it out anyway. And that's a good thing that I noticed about these wee eyeshadow shields. You can get a perfect crisp line with your wing. So because I didn't think that the Kat Von D liner was dark enough, I then went in with the NYX matte liner and I just went over that just to intensify the blackness even more. Then taking the black from the Jaclyn Hill palette and taking this wee small smudger brush from Sigma, I'm now going to go in and pat the black on to the liner, and this is obviously as well going to set liner, but I'm using it to smudge it out as well. I'm just showing here the two brushes that I use to do a smudged out smoky liner. I then go with the first one, which is the smaller one, and the second one, which is the slightly larger fluffier one. So here I am using the larger fluffier one, and as you can see it just actually does the blend work for you. and as you can see, it just gives a more buffed out, blown liner look. Then whenever I have that done, I'm just going to go with the NYX liner again, because I put on so much shadow, I kind of lost the black liner, so I just wanted to put on a wee bit more just to define my lash line. So then I'm just going to take that wee Sigma brush again, and I'm just going to go back in and pack that liner, just so that there isn't such an obvious black line. So then now I'm just going to do the wee detailed bits, like fixing up anything and just kind of blending everything out a wee bit more. I must admit, this was such a struggle to actually get this off. I think I waxed my under eyes doing this, but how sharp. Perfect. So then, starting on the face, I'm using the Origins Pore Perfecting Cooler Primer with Willow Herb, and I absolutely love this primer. I don't know, it's so satisfying. I think it's because it's a foam. I don't know, easily amused. So I just like to rub that all over my face, and then I just kind of like to pat it in. I just kind of find that you're kind of like pressing it into the skin. And then the foundation I'm going to be using today is the e.l.f. Maximum Coverage Concealer. This is in the shade Porcelain. And because I have my eyes and my eyebrows on first, I'm just going to start at the bottom of my face. And the beauty sponge I'm going to be using is the Ciara Daly Beauty Sponge. I have a discount code down below for any of her brushes if you want to use that. It's non-affiliate, I don't get money for it. So then I know this shade is Porcelain, even though it doesn't look like porcelain, so I still like to get it like right up into my hairline and around my ears and everything. And then for concealer, I'm just going to use the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair. And I'm just going to be placing this in just my highlighted areas, such as my under eyes and my chin. Well, the areas that I want to be highlighted and concealed. And then again, I'm just using that Ciara Daly Beauty Sponge to just buff that in. So then usually whatever is actually left on the sponge from buffing in the concealer, I just like to take a wee bit on my forehead. And then to set everything in place, I'm going to use my Coty Airspun Loose Powder. I mainly like to focus this powder on my under eyes and my smile lines around my nose and my chin area, because that is where I would crease and get oily. And then just like the concealer, if there's anything left on the sponge, I just like to take any excess powder that's on the sponge, and I just like to set my forehead and around my face, because I don't like the full effect of powder on my face. And then I just like to take a big fluffy brush and just buff that off. Taking my Colourpop highlighter, and this is in the shade Flexitarian. I'm just going to highlight my nose and my cheeks and my whole bloody existence. So then for blush, I'm just going to be taking this Shimmer Brick Illuminate Trio, whatever, from Maybelline, and I'm just going to use the wee blusher in it and blush my cheeks. Then taking the bronzer powder on the other side, and I'm actually using quite a big brush to bronze today because I didn't want any contour or anything going on. I just want it to be more soft because the eyes were so heavy. So yeah, and then I went in with another highlighter because it's me, come on. And this is the Doll highlighter in Shine Like a Diamond, I think. This is actually a really nice highlighter. I usually prefer highlighters that have like glitter in them, but this has no glitter in it. It's just a lovely soft highlight, more glow really. And then in with the Masquerade palette, one more time, I'm just going to go in with Burkina, and I'm just going to do my lower lash line. So then I couldn't find any wee thin brushes to do my lower lash line, so I just took this wee eyebrow brush and I just went in with the Jaclyn Hill palette one last time, and I used the black. So for lips today, I kind of went for a red. You can obviously just go for a nude lip if you want, but I kind of wanted to go with the extra mile. So for lip liner today, I used the W7 Lip Twister, and this is in the shade Red. And then for lipstick, I first went on with the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. This is in the shade Heroin, but as I was applying it and actually started blending it into my lips, I kind of thought that it looked more like a neon pink slash coral, and this, it wasn't really something I wanted. I wanted like a really, really vibrant, like blood red. So then I thought, dose of colours, Hot Fire, and this is the collaboration that Desi Perkins and Lustrelux done with Dose of Colours, and this was perfect. So everyone, this is the completed look. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to follow me on Snapchat, Instagram and Twitter, and I will see you guys soon.